Hello everyone! This is Katie Colleen here. Welcome back, Colleen Clan, or if you're new, then come join the family. Today we are making a Halloween costume for Walter the Wheelchair. So for this Halloween, I'm gonna be Captain America. I am doing a collab with some other cosplayers. We're all gonna be Avengers. It's gonna be a lot of fun. I felt like it would only be fair if Walter also had his own Captain America costume. So that's what we're doing today. Okay, so let's talk about the design. I'm going to be putting Captain America's shields right here in the wheel. So that's the design idea. That's it. I'm not trying to do anything more crazy than that. So how am I gonna do that? Well, the concept is not difficult. The execution may be more difficult. I have some EVA foam floor mats. So the idea is to make a shield in this EVA foam, and then that will be our Captain America shield. Now I am fortunate enough to have a wheelchair that has pop-off wheels, and that makes patterning wheelchair decorations like super easy. And it looks like this is just barely the right size. We are lucky today. Now this doesn't look like much now, but Captain America shield. Okay, so we're gonna have to do a little bit of math. So my plan is to have 2-inch stripes. So 1 stripe, 2 stripe, 3 stripes, and then you have the blue circle around the star. Okay, we are like taking it back to middle school with this one. You remember when you needed to make like circles for geometry class and you didn't have a compass, and it'd be like all you need is a pen and a string. Put that at the center and then you can just do it like that. So everything went so horribly wrong and looks so ugly. I'm restarting. So I'm gonna try it again, and the string method I think was a good idea, except it was not the right pen, it was not the right string, it was not the right foam, and it was not the right way to do it. My new method is to take the ruler and just measure 2 inches from the edge and make a mark. And hopefully after I have enough marks, it kind of turns into a circle. So here's how our shield looks. I'm much happier with version 2. So I'm gonna do this again for the other wheel. There you go, Walter. You look great. Now you may be wondering how I'm going to attach this to this. Well, I'm glad you asked. So here is my plan. I'm not sure if it's gonna work, but here's my plan. So if we take off this wheel, what you're gonna see is these little connection pieces. This connects from the push rim to the wheel. So there are 6 little connections. So basically the idea is I'm going to cut 6 little holes, and then because I cut out the shield to the size of the outside of the push rim, it can hopefully just kind of slide around here. Kind of like, you know when you buy a package and it has like those foam inserts and the foam is kind of cut to fit around pieces? It's kind of like that. We're basically making a big foam insert for the wheel. So what I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna lay this down, and I'm going to mark the location of each of our connections, and then I can just make a little cut into the foam, and hopefully that works. Let's give it a go. Okay, so right now I just have little cuts like that. So I think I'm gonna have to also cut out like a little hole at the bottom maybe, so that the little connector piece can kind of like sit in that hole and it like snaps into place. So when I Dremel these guys and sand on the edges, I'm just gonna take my drill tool and drill holes at the bottom of each of these cuts. So that means that next is Dremel time. It's Dremel time. Colleen, why back in the craft room so soon? I thought you were gonna do a lot of Dremeling. Failure, that's why. Okay, so before I got too deep into doing the Dremeling, I wanted to make sure that my concept of putting the shield onto the wheel like actually worked. So I basically just took an assumption that this was all flat and the foam would lay flat over it. That's not true. The center push button kind of pushes the foam out. And because of that, I didn't need to make my little holes so big. So now I just have these like gaping holes in the side of the shield. I still have the other shield outside. I'm gonna try Dremeling smaller holes. They're just gonna be tiny little notches in the edges. If that all looks good, I'll finish Dremeling that one, and I still have one floor mat left. I have a single floor mat left. If that looks good, I think I may just start over with a fresh one and redo this wheel. Okay, here's the moment of truth. Taking out the bad one. Let's see if this works. Oh yeah. Ooh. So you can't see any of the holes here. It's all just like very flush with the push rim. Oh yeah, that looks nice. I only need a hole like that big instead of a hole that's like that big. I'm gonna make another shield. I'm gonna cut out another shield and I'm gonna Dremel it this way. Okay, so now that I have both of these Dremeled and they're actually the right size, I'm gonna talk a little bit about etching in the symbol. But here you can kind of see the difference. This one on the left is etched and this one is not. I'm taking a drill bit and I'm just going over everything that I wrote on with the pen, and this etches it into the foam. That means when I cover this with paint, I'm still going to be able to see all the lines and we will not have lost all that hard work of sketching out the symbol. I wanted to give these both a try before I got into painting, and also I just really want to see how it looks. I think that is good. I'm gonna go over the foam with a heat gun. This just kind of like smooths out all the little sanding fuzzies, just kind of smooths out the texture. Then I'm gonna go over these with a Plasti Dip primer. I decided I would paint the whole shield silver and then I would put the red and blue over it. And this is like blinding, do you see this? Does it take more time for me to masking tape it off and spray paint it? Or would it take more time to paint it by hand? I think spray paint gives a nicer finish. So I already have one shield masking taped up, and And then there's a plastic piece right here. So this is also protected. Frog tape. Keeps paint out, keeps lines sharp. I'm really happy with the finish for the silver, but we'll see how everything holds up once I start layering on extra colors. I did 2 coats of the red paint, and the red paint looks good, but the frog masking tape was false advertising. It took off some of our silver paint, so I'll probably just go over it with some silver paint on a paintbrush and just touch it up. The real problem is I probably just put the tape on before the silver paint was dry. Now in this situation, I think painting the blue, it would be more to masking tape it than to just paint it by hand. Take this blue spray paint, spray it in this bowl, and then take a brush and brush on the blue, and we're gonna see if that works. Okay, so final thoughts on Walter's Halloween costume. So I think it was a good idea, and I think this came out looking like super, super cool. My only critique on these wheel covers is that the material choice. So with the EVA foam, like, it's cheap, you can make it look like Captain America shields very easily. The problem is, like, the paint scratches super, super easily. And because this EVA foam is so thick, there's not a lot of space for me to get my fingers under the push rims, so I kept scratching the paint off with my nails. I think if I want to try this method for future costumes for Walter, I'd like to try with Warbler or maybe a type of plastic. Other than that, I think this may be like genuinely one of the coolest things I've made. Like, and if you look at my channel, I've made a whole lot of things. Like, I've made a lot of stuff on my channel, and I think this may be like actually one of the coolest things I've made. And if you have any ideas for Walter to try next year, or maybe for a con, please leave that in the comments down below. Walter loves getting into cosplay. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye!